All right, guys. Today is the Ask the Fitness Expert episode number 8. I'm Randy Hartz. I'm with Complete Fitness, and we do this weekly where we take questions that maybe have been asked in the gym. Maybe you've posted them on Facebook, or maybe you've sent emails in. And so we always want to take and just really spread the fitness truth. So again, we take a topic each and every week and cover that. And I really want you to pay attention today. And listen up, because I had a conversation with a person just the other day about strength training. So this person asked me, why do we need, or why is it so important, why do we need to strength train? Okay? And so that's what we're going to talk about here today, the importance of training for strength, basically lean muscle tissue. So let me back up here a second. So basically, we've got to understand the concept here first, is that the more muscle tissue you've got on your body, the faster or higher your metabolism is typically. There's a lot of different factors, from your age, obviously how fast your body processes through food, your genetics, all those different things. But for the most part, muscle equals metabolism. Now, I know that point could be argued and so forth, but typically if we increase or we add lean muscle tissue, our metabolism is going to go up as well. Think about a car. If a car's got a 4-cylinder engine, it's very efficient at burning fuel. It's going to get, say, 40 miles to the gallon versus an 8-cylinder motor that maybe gets 15 miles to the gallon. So in a vehicle, that's a good thing because we want to burn less fuel, but in our body, we want to burn more fuel. We want to burn more food or more calories, which therefore obviously is increasing that metabolism. So what we really want to do here is we want to create an environment where we are supporting lean muscle, okay? Lean muscle, if I can spell, and hopefully you can read my writing. So this is lean muscle, and then we want to burn body fat. Okay, we want to create that lean toned look. If you're watching this and maybe you've got lean muscle tissue under there, but you can't see it, you don't have any definition. Again, that's the goal of what it is that we want to do. And if you followed any of these prior Ask the Expert shows, we always talk about the 5 pillars of fitness. So you've got to have these 5 pillars in place. Number 1 is common sense nutrition. Number 2 is supplementation to fill in the gaps that your nutrition misses. Number 3 is resistance training, which is what we're going to talk about. Number 4 is cardio. And number 5 is having a coach really to tie everything together. So the coach ties it together. They teach you those different components, hold you accountable to those components. They support you along the way, and help you get from where you're at to where you want to go in the least amount of time possible. So when we put all those 5 components together, that creates that environment in your body where the lean muscle tissue is supported and stored body fat can be utilized or burned as fuel. And again, as a byproduct, that's going to give you that lean toned look that everybody's looking for, okay? It's going to drop inches. Your energy levels are going to be higher. You're going to be able to burn more calories, eat more food, really all the things that a person is looking for. So what are some ways that we can resistance train? Well, you can, at the gym, you can obviously do the machines, okay? You can do body weight stuff, okay? You can do things like push-ups and body weight squats. You can use resistance bands, okay? There's some facilities that utilize resistance bands and utilize cardio and so forth. There's a tool called a kettlebell. You might do a kettlebell swing, a kettlebell squat, pressing movements, overhead presses and so forth. And then on the bottom here, and we've got free weights, okay? Dumbbells, barbells, different things like that. So again, there's a full gambit here. Machines, all these different things. These are all different methods of resistance training. Now, here's the thing. Some of these are very easy to utilize, and you're not going to get hurt, basically. So typically using a machine, you're sitting in there, you're in a fixed plane. So if you're doing a chest press, you just set the seat at the right height, you press away, and typically it's very safe and somewhat effective. The problem is your body's going to adapt to that movement relatively quickly. Same thing with body weight here. So again, very low risk, for injury and so forth, which is awesome. But again, your body's going to adapt. Bands, very low risk as well. You will get sore initially, so if you're watching this and you haven't done anything and you start using a resistance band, you're like, man, you didn't realize that just a rubber band could actually get you sore. But again, your body's going to adapt to that relatively quickly. That's what you want to recognize. Now, kettlebell, great tool. The only problem is it takes a lot more technique. You need to find a coach that teaches you how to use it correctly. Otherwise, the margin for error and getting hurt or getting injured with this can be very high. Now, free weights, the last thing, depending on the movement that you utilize, it's kind of like kettlebell. It's not quite as technical as a kettlebell, but it can be. But again, free weights are very effective. That's what we typically, we use a combination of a lot of these different things. But our strength training, we typically focus on free weights, and that's where having a coach makes a big difference. So you sit there and ask yourself, okay, is one thing better than the other? And it's like, not necessarily. I mean, in the beginning, it's just about getting moving, but eventually your body's going to develop, kind of a resistance to it. So I'm going to explain this concept called progression, okay? And this might be more than you want to know, but here's how all this works. And this is why things stop working over time and why you've got to consistently change things up. So at the gym that I own, when we train our members in our training sessions, whether it's small group or a large group, we base everything around a 4 to 6 week program. So let's say we're going over 5 weeks, okay? So week 1, we're going to start out here. We're going to learn sometimes a new movement. And then, in week 1 here, we're going to typically go higher repetitions, so there's less risk for injury. So we're going to go 15 reps in that first week. And then in week 2, we're going to progressively increase the weight, and we're going to bump the reps down. So we're going to go 12 reps. Week 3, we might go down to 10 reps. Week 4 and week 5, we might go 8 reps. We might add another set in here. We might go all the way down to 6 repetitions. A lot of times we're doing the same movement across the whole 5 weeks, but again, we're progressively getting heavier. And so by this time, you're going to have your form down. You're going to understand the movement relatively well. So let's say we're doing a squat and a deadlift, throughout this 5 week period, along with some other movements. We're not going to want to start out week 1 with 6 reps, because again, we can get injured. And our number one thing is we want to get you stronger safely, and that's the key word with that. So again, we progress up over time. Now you can do the same things with machines or resistance bands or whatever. The big problem happens is that once you get to maybe the 5 to 8 week point, your body very much adapts to that movement. And there's just not a lot of variation if you're just sitting in there doing a chest press or a leg extension or whatever. And then the other thing is we want to really focus on doing compound movements. And compound movements simply means that you're using more than one joint when you're doing an exercise. So if you're doing a bench press, you're moving the elbow joint, the shoulder joint. So not only are you working the chest, you're getting the shoulders, you're getting the triceps. Depending how you do it, if you're doing it standing, you're going to get some core activation in there as well. If you're doing a squat, same thing. The hips, the knees, those joints are moving. Your core is going to get activated. So you contrast that, squat movement with sitting in and doing a leg extension in a machine. The only joint that's moving is the knee. The core is stabilized, so you don't have to use that body part and so forth. So again, that's where you want to make sure that you're doing compound movements and you're progressively moving up over time. Now, here's a few ways that you can prescribe exercise. We use some simple terms: a push, a pull, a hinge, a swing, a squat, and a loaded carry. Okay? Some of you probably not even heard of a few of those movements. So a push can be a chest press, an overhead press. A pull can be a row or a lat pull down or a pull up. A hinge is a deadlift movement, a swing, a stiff-legged deadlift, anything, an RDL, Romanian deadlift, anything like that. A squat, just squatting down and getting back up, whether it's body weight or using weight or whatever. And then a loaded carry is simply picking up a weight and walking a distance. And this is a great way to develop a workout. So resistance training. So why is it again so important? We want to increase lean muscle tissue, which is going to support and build your metabolism and increase your metabolism over time. And all this stuff that I explained here, some of it might have went over your head, some others it might have sunk in, and you said, okay, that's why my program is not working anymore. I've been just using the rubber bands or maybe the 10-pound weights. If you're doing I don't care, a female, whatever, if you're doing a dumbbell row with, say, 10 pounds, it's not nearly enough resistance. You want to be anywhere from a 6 to 8 rep range up to maybe 10 or 12 at the highest. Maybe 15 if you're just learning the movement, but keep it between 6 and 8, upwards of 10 to 12 repetitions, and you want to be at failure within that rep range. Then you're going to, again, get the best results in the least amount of time, and as you get stronger, you want to progressively increase the resistance or increase what we call the load, so you're doing more work in there. So, might be a lot to throw at you, but again, resistance training is incredibly important. If you're not doing it, if you're just doing cardio and going on a diet program, you will not be satisfied, I promise you, with the results that you get. So add resistance training in, and it'll definitely create a complete program for you. If you need help, you can reach out to us. If you got any questions, post them in the comments here below, but we'd love to work with you. We love our clients. We love adding value to people and impacting people's lives and changing them with health and fitness. So share this video if you liked it, comment, share, whatever. So God bless you. Hope I added value to you, and we will see you in the gym.